Hey YouTube, how the heck you doing? I'm doing great and I hope you are too. I thought I'd give you a little update on my saltwater tank behind me. I've been getting some comments on how good it looks and everything, and I try to do my best, but sometimes things fail. I added a frag or two, I think 3 actually, in one of my latest videos on my saltwater tank, and unfortunately he did not survive. He just eventually kind of just dwindled away to nothing, so the only thing that was left was the actual plug that I had bought him on. This ain't it, this is a new one. But I'm going to talk about these in a few seconds too. But unfortunately I lost that one. He was probably the most expensive one of the 3 that I put in there. He was about $8 I think, which isn't a lot, but when you're trying to grow your tank and add to it and everything, $8 here, $5 there, it tends to add up in the long run. But we'll see how we do in the future on that one. But I tried to do the best I could for that one. I had them at the lowest level in my tank, and that's usually where I try to start them out so they can acclimate themselves to the lighting and everything. And then I gradually moved them up to semi-middle, not quite all the way to the middle, because he wasn't doing too much at the bottom. I thought he needed a little more light. And just eventually, after days and maybe 2 weeks I think, he just kept getting smaller and smaller until there was nothing left of them. But the other ones that are in the same family as the polyps that I have in there, they've been thriving and everything, so I'm not quite sure why that one didn't survive. So we'll just keep adding. But I'm going to take a little dive in the tank with you and show you around. And you're going to see I'm running out of room there, so I may have to expand my tank. That's a 29-gallon cubic tank, so it's more high than long it is. Usually the 29-gallon, you see the longer ones with the shorter, but this one is much deeper, so that's why I have my Radion lighting up there that keeps the light going deep into the water to be able to get to the corals at the bottom and give them sufficient light. So we'll just keep on plugging away with this hobby. I'll keep you updated once in a while on it, maybe every other month or so. But let's dive in on the frag thing. I told you this was the plug that I usually get my frags on when I go to the coral swaps and everything. And it's just your typical plug that the guys use. And they're not as attractive as the rock that you may have in your tank or what you're trying to simulate in your tank. So I try to usually cut it off or break it off the plug and just lay it on the rock till it attaches to the rock itself. Sometimes I glue it in place to keep it from falling off or floating away depending on what kind of coral it is. But I like to set it there on a rock or in the location for a while just to see how it thrives in that certain location before I permanently put it there. So I don't tend to glue too many of my frags in place in the beginning. But like I said, I don't really care for the look of this frag plug, and sometimes you can't get the coral off there depending on how it's encroached on the sides and stuff. So what I've found through Bulk Reef Supply are these little guys. They're almost like little pieces of live rock or whatever, but they're a little more, if you can see, if it can lock in there. I think it's locking in there. Maybe not. I guess it won't lock into there. It's a little more natural looking, and placing it in there along with the live rock, it's going to look a lot nicer. And I would imagine the coralline, which is the red coral that I have all over my rocks, would encroach on this a lot quicker than it would with just the straight plug. But I haven't had too bad luck with the little plugs. Usually I can get the frag off there, but I think I'm going to like these a little bit better. With these coral frag mounts, I can set them in the sand so the coral that's attached to them can acclimate themselves to it a little bit easier. I'm going to start fragging my own because, as you can see, a few of mine have gone a little too wild in there, hence my need to get a bigger tank too. And I'm going to show you that. So let's go ahead and jump into the tank and do a quick little tour. I'm going to take you a little bit around outside of the tank, but then I'm going to use my little GoPro session camera here and actually go into the water. I'll try to do my best to keep it in focus and everything. I thought I could be able to do the Wi-Fi connection on my phone, but as this goes into the water it loses the Wi-Fi connection, so I don't know exactly what I'm filming because there's no back or anything on it. I'll try to keep it as steady as I can for you guys, but let's go ahead and try it out and jump right in. So here we are on the outside, as you can see. My orange Recordia have really been blossoming all over that rock. They pretty much have taken it over. There's my filefish down there. He's the one that keeps the aptasia away. And then my clownfish. And then as we move over to the left, we have some more Recordia, the orange grown. We got a green one there. And then on this rock that you see all the way encrusted along there and actually growing up the glass on the back, that's the blue coral that I came across, blue polyp coral. When I originally got this rock, it was a trade for some of my Recordia. A gentleman wanted, I gave him about 30 of them I think at that time. That was on a rock in a similar place, and he just gave me a piece of live rock in replace of it. And at the time it looked just like a live rock, but as time went on, and I don't know if he knew it was on there or not, but the blue polyp corals have started to thrive on this rock, and I'm trying to keep them at bay from encroaching on other areas because they are kind of invasive. If they get into the water column, they can attach themselves to other parts of the rock, so I'm trying to keep that at bay by taking them away here and there. Back over here I got my toadstool mushroom. He's been doing pretty good. It's a leathered coral. Down here I have what I believe is my Montipori coral. He's been doing pretty good. I also getting a little bigger here and there as the time goes on. Got some more zoas down here, a couple different colors. And then I got my star polyp. He's been thriving pretty good here. And as we move along to the right side of the tank, we have a lot of mushrooms. They've been thriving pretty good. They're the blue mushrooms. And up by the clownfish here, at the top of the rock, top of the hill, that is my orange tip clove polyps. So they have been going really good. Originally they were down, farther down on the rock, but they have grown up to the top there. They're doing pretty good. Next to that, the little green guy, that was actually a frag that broke off this guy down here. And it was probably a quarter of the size at that time. I just stuck it in a little crevice because it is kind of fragile. I actually broke it as I was cleaning the glass, broke a little frag off this one as I was cleaning the glass. So I put him up here in the crack, and he's been going great up in that area since I put him up there. He's probably grown 4 times as big as since he's up there, and now he's attached. I can't even dislodge him from that, so we'll have to see what we need to do down the road on that. But let's go ahead, get our little session camera ready, and dive right in. So there you go, guys. That's a little update on my saltwater tank. If you have any questions or anything, please leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them the best I can. I know a lot of you have been having interest in starting one. It seems a little intimidating at first. You do need probably more equipment in the beginning than you would for just a freshwater tank. but as you can see with the color and everything and different things you can do with the salt water, it really is worth the effort that I've been able to put into it. And I won't lie, there's been a few times when the tank has crashed and I thought I would lose everything and I just wanted to give up on the hobby, but you just keep on reading and learning and persevering, and someday you'll have a tank like that, or a tank that needs to be going into a bigger tank, which is what I think is going on there. But we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you updated on that. But until then, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time, guys. Have a great one.